modern day activism is kind of whack, and it's something that I often like to point my finger at and go, and because it sort of lacks risk. Anyone can go on the internet and just type a load of stuff into a social media platform and say, you know, I'm socking it to the man, and I'm active. I am activism. You know, these sort of people will criticize online trolls for going, look at your face, you know, and saying, you're just a troll. You wouldn't say that's my face in real life. You're just some sad, lonely person in a basement writing stuff on an internet forum. You know, it's like just writing silly comments does nothing. Who are you? But yeah, they're just writing, I stand with Ukraine, or I stand with Iran. Meat is murder. Aren't you like kind of the same people at the end of the day? You're just people that just chat a lot on the internet and don't really do anything. But then again, they do kind of think that mean comments on the internet have some sort of gravitas and like are so powerful that they need to be stopped because of how much they hurt people's feelings. And so maybe if you got that mindset, you think just writing, stop persecuting people in Iran, that somehow this is going to manifest itself and stop the persecution of women in Iran. I don't. I hate to break it to you, but it won't. One of the things with this Iranian situation that's going on is the mainly celebrities, but anyone really, who are doing things in solidarity with the women, chopping off their hair. A few Iranian actresses I've seen chopping off their hair on television. Some Iranians, there's an Iranian actress, these are ones who aren't based in Iran, by the way, who stripped naked on a video and like said, I stand with the women of Iran and so forth. And it's like, okay, cool, I get it. You know, showing camaraderie to people of an oppressed state. Well, who doesn't live in an oppressive state? I mean, it's just different levels of it. You can even live in a slightly cooler oppressive state, I suppose. And that's fine because, I can see it. You know, the women who are struggling in Iran can go on the internet because they still have access to that, and just look at all the people that are, thinking of them. But the problem is, and what we see too much of, because this is the modern era. This is the 2020s. This isn't the 1920s. How much of this is being done for them and not for them? And when I say for them, for the people doing the videos, chopping off their hair live on TV, the people writing the messages of solidarity. How much of that is just for their own egotism, for their own, to satisfy their own narcissistic tendencies? Because social media and just the ways of online media and just the rampant reach of it and just the sheer volume of it, it's like it has cranked up people's levels of egotism and narcissism to a level we've never seen we've never seen before in the whole history of humanity. This is like Emperor's New Clothes level business. So you remember here's another example. You remember during the early days of the pandemic when it was all just memes about people wearing glass jars on their heads, and there were people in Italy singing and some guy playing an instrument or something, and they did Imagine by John Lennon, and then all the celebrities saying, hey, do you know what would be really great if we did our own version of that? And the backlash was like, go away, don't do that. It's like, well, the reaction was a backlash, what I said. But anyway, you get my point. People are like, nah, well, don't be a douchebag, you look stupid. And because it's another example of like, you're just making this about you. Like the person at a funeral who cries the loudest because they want the attention to be on them when the attention should be on the person who's dead. But they're like, why is this dead person getting all this attention? I'm the greatest person in the room. Look at me. I'm crying loudly. They're those kind of people. And, it might be my cynical brain, but my cynical brain has been built by experience. And so therefore, I can't shut off my experience. Like an experienced surgeon, you don't just switch it off and just go, I'll just cut this bit off. You don't do that. You just go, my knowledge base tells me that this is some nonsense. You know, and I just can't help but feeling that way when I see someone on television going, "I'm going to cut my hair off in solidarity." You know, and it's like, yeah, it's good to show the world that we oppose this, and you know, for the women in Iran to see a celebrity who they view in their little devices, and they sort of, you know, we look at celebrities like they're sort of demigods, even though they're not at all. But, and you know, it has this psychological activation going, oh wow, they're thinking about us, they're with us in our struggle, and like, I get it, that's cool. But at the end of the day, it's not activism, and it doesn't really do anything apart from that. And I think it's mainly driven by people's own self-love. Well, you know, too much self-love. It is driven by narcissism, and I just can't help but feel that way when people do that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, they think, they'll make out that we're doing something. We're doing something. Yeah, you're doing something, but you're not doing a lot. Because a woman in Iran who's flipping off the police like this and chopping off her hair in front of them, like, that has consequences. And the thing is, when you're on live TV in the UK, where like you can do what the hell you like with your hair as a woman, except chop it off and stick it in a baby's mouth, I suppose, it doesn't, there is no risk there. And that's kind of the problem with this approach to things. It's like there's literally zero risk. Okay? This isn't like going back to the 60s when some celebrity would oppose the Vietnam War, and people are like, whoa, don't give them another movie. It's not like, there's zero risk, but there is plenty of reward, because we live in a society dictated by virtue currency, which is a real thing. Okay, there's corporations out there whose stock price increases because of how virtuous they behave. Well, are perceived to behave. We live in virtue currency. It benefits them more than anybody else. It benefits them more than it benefits the women of Iran, is what I would argue. And usually I'm right about this sort of stuff, so I'll say that is the truth. And it really does, because nothing's going to happen to them. And like I said, I've already said, fair enough, you want to show solidarity, and some people might see it and go, okay, that's great, people are listening to us, we are heard, our actions are being seen, but it's not going to do anything. So don't ever think that what you're doing is making any difference. It might perk up an Iranian woman. It might give them a bit of a confidence boost. It might make them, it might give them a bit more, yeah, come on. Which is cool, but that's about it, And it's just too often you see people doing things, and it's like, this is about you. This is all about you, because all eyes are on you. Okay, all eyes should be on them. I would say it would be better just to share all the videos and all the messages coming out of Iran, and just keep sharing it and keep sharing it and keep sharing it and keep sharing it and keep sharing it. Bombard the internet with it. Spam the living crap out of everything. Next time you see some stupid Facebook video of someone going, oh, look at this man making a 16-kilo cheese puff, like, just spam the living crap out of it with messages from Iran, because this thing is offering nothing to society. So just do that instead of going on television and chopping your hair off. Like, do you know what I mean? Because put out the message that doesn't involve you, I would say. Put out the message that doesn't involve you. Okay. That's kind of where I stand on that kind of thing. Because, like I said, there is no risk. There's no risk. If you really, 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 really want to make change, like I said, if you want to show solidarity and give a message of hope to people and uplift people in Iran, because they'll see what you've done and be like, oh, I'm glad you know what's going on. that's cool. But if you think you're going to be making a difference, then fly in there and chuck your hair. Keep your hair in a bag that you just chopped off and chuck it in a policeman's face. Just go like, ah, do that. Put that on video. When I see that, I'll be like, yo, go, go, go. You know what I mean? I'll marry a woman who does that. Not if she goes to jail, though. I can't be a prison husband. No, I can't just be doing visitations every week. Oh, you're right. You're right. Because, you don't want to... Because you're just going to get grief. That's all you're going to get is grief, isn't it? It's not like, oh, I miss you, babes. Going, look at you. What you been up to? I was like, every week I've got to go to jail and get this. So, but when you come out, I'm there waiting for you. I always have to make jokes. That's what life's all about. PlanetRebus.com, baby. Do it for someone else, not just for yourself.